Hello and welcome to the talk series called Mysuru Talking Trails, hosted by Mysuru Book Clubs established in 2015 and Mysuru Literary Forum Charitable Trust. Today, in our talk series, we have our own young chef from Mysuru who has become a very well-known chef and making Mysuru very proud. That is Aarnav, yes, Kumar. He is just 21 years old. So his parents are Satish and Anjali, the proud parents who dare to let the child dream and follow his dream. Congratulations to you both for giving us such a good, wonderful chef, making Mysuru name go all over. Young chef Aarnav, he studied at Bangalore Culinary Academy in Bangalore. Then he went on to do his further studies in International Center for Culinary Arts in Dubai. Then he started to work at Verve Bar and Grocery at Dubai. Then Folly by Nick Scott, Dubai. His hobbies are fishing, golf, sketching, and basketball. All the best to you, Arnav, for spreading the Mysuru name. We are all proud of you. The person who's going to be in conversation with him is again another chef, a very well-known person who's also brought out a book called Seasoned for Family and Friends. Morvarid Fernandes. Morvarid is born in Mysore. She went on to do her school in Nilgiris and finished her master's in St. Philomena's, Mysore, and post-graduation from Pune. She's presently into farming, a wonderful person who's doing a lot of work for the women in Belgaum, and she's into organic farming also. She ran a homestay for 15 years successfully, and there are so many friends and family who've gone and enjoyed her homestay. Welcome to you both, Arnav and Maury, and welcome to our audience. Thank you all. Enjoy the talk.
Hi there,
Hello.
Aarnav. Nice
Hi.
meeting you,
Nice meeting
even
you
though
too.
it's only through a screen.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that we both share some common ground. We are from the
Yes.
same place, Mysore, and we
Yes.
both love food.
Yeah,
So
we do.
I'd like to thank Shubha for giving us this opportunity to have this conversation, and also for the lovely introduction that she gave. So she was very nice about that. And so let's start talking, should we?
Yes.
Why don't you start by giving us an introduction about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Aarnav. I am from Mysore. Studied here at St. Joseph's and basically finished my high schooling. I've been wanting to be a chef since I was a kid. So yeah, finished my schooling and then moved on to Bangalore, studied in a culinary institute there called Bangalore Culinary Academy. That went on for about 6 months, then moved to International Center for Culinary Arts in Dubai. Again, that went on for about a year. And then, yeah, pretty much started working as a chef.
Okay.
That's
So
just a
let me
brief
introduce
introduction.
myself.
Yeah.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Morvarid Fernandes, and I'm basically what you would call a home cook. I've also written a book. I don't know if you've seen it. This is the book I've written. It's called Season for Family and Friends, and it was a book I wrote on food and with plenty of anecdotes of living in Mysore during my growing up years, during my childhood in the 60s and 70s. And I basically wrote this book based on my experience on cooking for people who came and stayed in my guest house. My husband and I, we ran a guest house, and we used to get a lot of international and domestic tourists. So I used to cook for them, and this is the result of this. I think you came for my launch, actually. When I was launching the book in Mysore, Shubha
I remember
very
it was
kindly.
in the race club, but
Yes.
I'm not very, I don't
Little
remember a
young,
lot of it. I was very young then.
very young. So it's interesting actually that you've taken this up, I mean, it's not something that young people really go for. It's quite out of the ordinary, and to be interested in food from such a young age.
I mean, it all started off, I think when I was 8 or 9. It was just the end of the day and we were watching TV and we were just flipping through channels. We didn't know what to watch. And then MasterChef Australia popped up. So basically made my parents stop the search and we were like, let's watch this. It was the first episode of the first season of MasterChef Australia. So it was like the auditions. So we just went on to watch it and it just stuck on. It just went on for a couple of weeks. And then basically, I didn't know you could do so much with food. So then I just started playing around in the kitchen, helping out. And then gradually over the years, it just started into like recreating recipes from TV, from books I read, from the internet. And then it just went on to me making my own recipes, basically. So ever since the time I started like playing around in the kitchen, I knew I wanted to be a chef.
But you saw there's something on television which kind of piqued your interest. But did you like food? Did you
Yes.
enjoy eating? Was food an important part of your life? I mean, did you look forward to a meal, or did you look forward to something that your mom cooked you, or something like that?
Honestly, when I was a kid, I never used to eat. I used to be a very fussy eater. Literally, I never used to eat. I used to hate eating food. So I don't know how this happened, but yeah.
You're quite strange. So when you were in Mysore, when you were in school and college in Mysore, what was the reaction of your friends and colleagues and classmates when you said that? Did any of them share a similar passion with you, or were you just kind of one in a crowd?
Oh, no, I was one in a crowd. Everyone, I don't think they took it very well. Some teachers made fun of me. Some of them were like, yeah, it's not going to work out. Forget it. My friends really didn't care, but the teachers were like, no, what are you doing? Just stop. It's not going to work out. The standard stuff when you say you want to do something different. So
yeah.
It was like
so did that put you off in any way? Did it put you off? Or did you just say, okay?
No, I just said, okay, that's your point of view. I usually don't care what other people think. So
that's great.
So yeah, I just do
what about your parents?
I mean,
what about your parents?
Some kind of, like, I really need to give them credit because dad's a doctor, granddad's a doctor. From my mom's side, my mom's brother's a doctor. My granddad's an engineer, great granddad was an engineer. And me suddenly telling them I want to be a chef. I mean, I know it takes a toll, but they understood pretty well. Like at first, they just ignored me when I told them when I was around 10. They're like, okay, this is probably just a phase. And then when I came up to like 10th grade, and that's when you make an actual decision. So you choose your subjects.
Right.
So like I still want to be a chef. So then the research started. Dad started researching about it. Mom started researching about it. And I think it was good that they let me do what I want to do. Like there are many people who don't.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. You're really lucky. Yeah.
I'm happy they let me do what I want to do.
Do you
So
have any? Yeah. Do
sorry?
you have any siblings?
No, I'm the only
Do you
child.
have any siblings?
I'm the only
You're
child.
the only child.
Yeah.
Also. So really very good of them to give you
Yeah, it was
all
a
the
hard
support that you
decision,
need.
but yeah.
Yes. So
So
why
yeah.
did you choose the Bangalore? Why did you choose Bangalore as your first point of study?
Okay, so this is a very funny story actually. So basically, I wasn't going to go to Bangalore. I didn't want to go there. So the whole point was I was supposed to go to Australia, but my dad researched a lot, A to Z about this with mom's help. And then he's like, you don't know what you're getting into. We don't know anyone who's like a chef. So why don't you go to Bangalore, see what it's about, get a foundation, and then go out. So this place, Bangalore Culinary Academy, mom and me pulled up for a visit one day, and we just drove past and parked right in front of the building. I hope none of them are watching, but I looked at the building and the first words out of my mouth were, Mom, where have you got me? This place looks like Anne Frank's shelter. It was a very new school. It was a very small building.
Okay.
So I was like, where have you got me? This place doesn't seem right. But I went in and I saw what they do. So I agreed. And then I enrolled myself. And I learned a lot actually, even though it was so small. And I learned a lot. The teachers were good. Some of my best friends are from there. We still cook together. My friend has his restaurant in
Good.
Bangalore. I go help out whenever I'm here. So yeah, it was a fun time. It gave me a good foundation for Dubai too. Because when I went to
Right.
Dubai, I pretty much knew most of the things from here.
So how come Dubai? Why not Australia? Why did you kind of move to Dubai, not Australia?
First of all, ICCA is one of the top 5 in the world. So, and the trainers there are very good. That's what I had heard that. And when I went to Dubai on vacation I think months before I enrolled over there. And I went visited ICCA. It seemed really nice. All the instructors seemed really nice. And for such a small university, they were doing a really good job. And I looked at the job aspects at Dubai too. There were a lot of like Michelin star prodigy chefs, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
for example, yeah, they train under Michelin star chefs and they come and open here, kind of situation. And the food scene was just
I
evolving
think that's
there.
because
Like,
it's yeah.
yeah, food scene was just evolving there. It was something new, like modern European cuisine coming to Dubai, to the Middle East at that time. So yeah, that's why
It's
I
a
wanted to
huge
go
hub.
there.
It's a big hub.
It's one of the
It's a big
centers.
hub. So everybody,
Everyone goes to Dubai.
yeah, correct. Yeah. So what
Yeah,
was
so
your
that's one of the
experience like over there in college there? What was your experience like?
college there was good, but again, it's hard. So I mean, I just want to say this: when people say being a chef, they think of Gordon Ramsay yelling at people on TV, and they think that's the life it is. But that's not what it is. It's very hard. It's very gruesome. So basically, a day in ICCA, I used to stay about 30 minutes away from uni. So I used to get up at around 5:45 in the morning, get ready, dress up, take the metro, and then a 10-15 minute walk to uni. So it was 6:30 by the time I reached. Go turn the lights on, and since we were the juniors, me and 2 other batchmates used to cook breakfast for the entire university, omelets and sausages and scrambled eggs and all that kind of stuff. So it's like a buffet. So we cook it every day, and then our classes started, practicals, theory, whatever they had planned. Then once that was a session in the morning, then we had lunch break, and then a session in the evening. Once that's done, sometimes we went home. Sometimes they hosted events like team building. They used to call in companies like Volkswagen, Porsche, with all the top employees, and it's basically like a fun event where we teach them how to cook, and it's like basically get their team together to work better. So that event that used to go on till about 9:30, 10. So you're there from 6:30 in the morning till 10 on your feet. And yeah, and then you finish and you clean up after that and then you leave. So by the time you get home, it's around 10:45, 11. And then again the next day, same routine.
It's perhaps one of the most difficult jobs, actually.
Yeah,
People
it's one of the
don't
most
realize
stressful
how
jobs.
difficult how difficult it is, because there's so much actually just basic cleaning work and cutting and chopping and that sort of the preparation that takes up so much of your time.
Exactly.
And does it get monotonous? Does it get monotonous doing the same thing?
I mean, if you like it, it doesn't. But usually what happens in a restaurant is you keep getting switched around to different sections, so you learn everything. So you're not, you're here for 2 months.
So your interest is peaked all the time.
Yeah. It's basically so that you don't get bored. And because once you get bored, you start messing up. You just, your standards go down.
Yeah. So your interest has to be kept alive.
Yes, that's basically.
Your interest has to be kept alive. Yeah. Were there a lot of international students in Dubai? Did you have a lot of people from around the world in your class?
Yeah, we've had people from Africa, America, and Lebanon, Egypt, India, all over the place.
And what was the bonding sort of? Was it a good kind of bonding, or was
they were all really nice actually. We all hung out almost every week whenever we had off. We're still in touch, most of them, so made really good friends there.
That itself is an experience, isn't it? Meeting other people.
I think learning with people from different parts of the world gives you more exposure.
Yeah.
So it's just widens your view of everything.
And also did you experience any of their cuisine from other parts of the world? Did they cook for you?
Yeah,
I mean, would you cook an Indian meal for somebody, for your?
Yeah, we used to have like potluck sometimes, and sometimes they used to invite us to their house when they had their festivals or something like that. So they used to cook and we used to go hang out. We also used to get something. So yeah, we had fun times just like that, but it was good.
And what's your favorite cuisine? What do you like? Well, not so much to eat, but to cook. What do you like to cook?
I like to cook mostly modern European. But yeah, with that, I like to add like fuse it with an Indian a bit, few spices here and there. But yeah, mostly modern European. That's what I like to do.
And how do you use? Do you ever use crossover in ingredients, like move ingredients from one cuisine to the other and kind of have a how would you call it? A kind of a mix, a kind of what's the word that you use?
Like a fusion kind of thing?
Like a fusion kind of thing.
Yeah, that happens very often actually. Like the restaurant I used to work at, we had a lot of stuff like that. Like harissa is basically a spice mix. We used to make that into a dip and serve it with squid for like a bar snack.
Okay.
So just you don't want to eat mayonnaise when you go out. You can eat mayonnaise at home. But and you're paying so much for it, so it might as well be really nice. So we try to make different things which people haven't usually seen. So yeah, it's worth the experience when you're paying for it.
So let's talk about your work now. So you've worked in 2 restaurants in Verve. Verve was the first one.
Yeah, Verve Bar and Brasserie.
So tell us something about that.
So that's a brasserie. So it's like the concept was classic British, but we obviously modernized it. Seated around, it was a small restaurant, seated around 70 covers approximately, and there were like 7 of us in the kitchen. It was nice. So basically in the morning, you go around like 8 o'clock in the morning, start prep. We have your briefing for lunch, finish lunch service, and then you start prep for dinner. Have your lunch at around 2, prep for dinner service, and dinner usually was there were more people for dinner than lunch. So, and
Okay.
we had an open kitchen, so people could
Okay.
actually see what we cooked. They could come up to
What
the
you were doing.
pass. They could come up to the pass and see how we cook. And yeah, pretty much just like that. I learned a lot there. So I was in charge of the garnish section for about 3 months. Like I went in there on September 5th, and I think a month later, the garnish chef resigned, and they were like, "Yeah, you're in charge of garnish right now," and I'm new to the game, so they just put me on it, and I handled
Okay.
it. And then after a while, we moved to the I moved to pastry, and under pastry, like the chefs there taught me a lot. So that's basically Chef Nick Alvis and Chef Scott Price. They are pretty much prodigies of Gordon Ramsay. Worked for him for 15 years at like Claridge's, Petrus. They worked for him in Paris. Came to open
All the
his
big places.
came to open his restaurant in Dubai, and after that they have 4 of their own restaurants there. And they pretty much encourage me a lot. They used to train me personally. If I'm doing anything wrong, they used to come and show me personally, saying, "Don't do it this way, do that way. It's going to be easier for you." All that kind of stuff. And yeah, and they're the kind of people who let you do stuff. There are chefs which be like, "Just listen to me, do what I say." But these guys, like, if you have an idea, tell me, we can implement it. So at a point of time that came about, and I gave them a couple of ideas, and around 2 or 3 of my dishes were on the menu for some time. I mean, yeah, until coronavirus happened. A couple of my dishes were on the menu. They liked it, and they helped me improve it. They're like, "Instead of doing something like this, why don't you add this into it?" I mean, it made it better. So
That makes a big difference when you have that encouragement,
yeah,
because you find lots of people who don't want to share what they know, and to give encouragement and help people along.
yeah,
So that's really a very lucky start that you got, and
yeah,
so that's
and it's
nice.
good because I mean, I look up to them because they've worked for Gordon Ramsay and stuff like that. So they're pretty big chefs, and them encouraging me is, I mean, it's kind of nice. So
Yeah. Then you moved on to Folly.
I mean, I didn't exactly move on to Folly. It was when I was working in Verve, and they had a couple of parties at Folly, and they needed someone from our kitchen to come and help out there. So basically, I was working one day in the pastry section, and Chef Nick just comes up. He's like, "Pack your stuff up." So I was like, "Am I fired? What's happening?" He's like, "Just stop everything and pack your stuff up." So I thought I was in trouble. So I was like, "No, no, what happened? Can you tell me?" He's like, "Go to the laundry, pick up your chef jacket and a pair of pants, hats, like get your uniform and meet me down in the basement. Get your stuff." So basically, and then went down to the basement, like, "Get in my car. We're going to Folly. I need your help there." So he just drove me to this other restaurant. So it's like 5 minutes away from Verb. Went to Folly. And there it started. They had parties. There were like 300 people a night for a week. We were there pushing it, pushing it. And for them to do all this, and I was 19 when I started work. I was 19 when I started working. I had my birthday at Verb, I remember. For them to trust me when I'm 19, and they're like letting me loose in the kitchen at 19 was a very
I
good.
think it's an amazing thing.
Yeah,
Not only that, but the fact that at 19 you were actually working there and getting an experience, you were on your own feet and you
yeah,
were independent. That's a great way to start life. And you must feel really proud of yourself.
yeah,
You
I
should
do.
really pat yourself on the back. You've really done well. It's really nice to know, because
Thank you.
today you see so many kids are still dependent on their parents and all that, and here you are, like, doing your own thing and all. You should be really, really proud of what you have done. It's really
Thank
nice to
you.
know.
Thank you.
So what is the what do you think the future is for you? What How are you looking at it?
I mean, right now, I don't think I have the experience to open up my own restaurant. So I'd rather work for chefs, like not in one place, around the world. I just want to keep moving over like a period of 9 years or something. So just see how
Hmm.
different chefs look at food in different ways. and then finally open a couple restaurants of my own around the world and get a couple Michelin stars. That's basically the dream.
Yeah, that is the goal of every chef, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Europe would be a beautiful, wonderful destination for you,
I
isn't
mean, I
it?
really want to
Europe,
go to Europe and
France.
work, but that doesn't seem
Yeah.
possible right now. So,
Hmm. That's very nice. So, I was thinking about this. You're the new face for food. Okay, you're the new generation that's coming into food. What would you consider your food philosophy, if you can call it that? I mean, I think that's a strange word to
yeah,
use, but
yeah.
anyway, for a better word, I mean, what do you feel? I mean, about wastage and about how the way things are grown, the way things are used.
I mean,
What do you
right
have any
now,
feelings about this?
I mean, there was a lot of wastage before, like a couple years back, but now the sustainable, I don't want to call it a trend, let's say a movement has kicked in where people don't want to waste anything. Even like, for example, if we're using a chicken, we use every part of the chicken. The bones go into
Absolutely, yeah.
the bones go into stock. The thighs are used for something else. Drumstick used for something else. Or we cut it in such a way we use the entire piece of the animal. So vegetables. So basically, restaurants in Italy. I think you've heard of it. Austria Francescana. It was one of the best in the world. They literally use everything from onion peels, potato peels, carrot peels. They make it a broth and they use it with pasta.
Yeah.
And there's a restaurant called Co in London. So that's by Claire Smith. She's worked for Gordon Ramsay again. She just won 3 Michelin stars this year. Uh, Again, her restaurant is very sustainable. She gets all her ingredients from local farmers, all her cutlery, crockery from local places. They use a lot. They use everything there. They don't waste anything. So that's basically
Mhm.
what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
think
it's
and I
yeah.
think
Go ahead.
being sustainable right now is the better choice looking at how the world is going forward.
Right. Absolutely. Especially our seas. Our
Yeah,
seas are being overfished, and everything is. I mean, even the way we grow things today, it's
yeah,
all
yeah,
it's all really messed up. And
yeah,
uh, so yes, things like organic, if it were more available to the open general population rather than to the elite, because and that sort of thing. So I mean, I suppose when the time comes for you to put up your restaurant, there'll be other kind of movements and trends at
yeah,
that time. So you just have to wait and see.
yeah,
But I
exactly.
think at this point of time, it's these sort of things have to be looked into. I mean, even the portion on the plate.
Yeah,
I mean, the quantity of food that is being served, portions could be reduced, so there's no wastage.
yeah.
That sort of
I
thing.
mean, the
Yeah.
restaurants, like
So
all the Michelin star restaurants, actually, they have small portions. It looks small on the plate, but actually fills you up. It's exactly enough for you. Because even when I took my mom to Fali when
yeah,
she came to visit me in Dubai, she looked at the food and this is not going to fill me up. But by the time she was done with 3 courses, she was full. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they start serving
Is it a
portions.
kind of
Yeah, go
yeah?
ahead.
Is it kind of a big difference between for your mom to see what you're cooking and what you were actually brought up on? Can she? How does she see that, and how does she understand it?
Mm, I mean, I'm pretty sure she can see the improvements from what I used to cook and what I cook now. I mean, even I see it, but so if I can see it, I'm pretty sure they can see it too. But before, mom was a bit skeptical of eating my food. Now she eats it, so I'm taking that as a good sign.
Is it because of her mother's love, or do you think she's really getting to like it?
I think she's really getting to like it. How did you get into?
I had to cook, and I didn't really enjoy it, quite honestly. Yeah, but it kind of grew on me. It kind of grew on me, and then I was there serving lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner to all my guests
Yeah.
for over 15 years. And that I really enjoyed because I was experimenting and using ingredients from all over the world. And I
Yeah.
had this wonderful set of guinea pigs, you know, all these people who were just eating my food and telling me whether they liked it or not. So it makes a big difference.
And how come
Yeah.
you went on to write a
And
book?
now I just cook food. I wrote the book because I felt I just had to get this in. Anyway, Arnav, it's been a great experience talking to you, and I wish you all the best. You're
Thank you.
you're really really doing really well for yourself, and I hope you just go where you want to.
Yeah.
Expensive?
No, you can manage with the salary you have there.
Okay, Arnav, take
All right.
care. I
Thank
wish
you.
you all the best. Nice speaking to you.
Thank you so much.
Take
Likewise.
care.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Rid. Thank you, Aarnav.
Bye.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. So there are a lot of chefs which inspire me, but like the two main chefs who I follow are Marco Pierre White and Gordon Ramsay. So yeah, Marco Pierre White's basically the godfather of modern cooking, trained Gordon Ramsay. He's Gordon Ramsay's mentor. So yeah, I've read all their books. I have all their books. I've read all their books. I use their techniques when I'm cooking. I've met Marco in Bangalore when he had come for World on a Plate. Gave me a lot of good advice, which I still use till this date. But I almost fainted when I met Marco. I was that excited. Standing in line and my friends were holding me from the back because I was feeling lightheaded. So it was really good. But then if I meet Gordon Ramsay, I am going to faint. I'll probably have a heart attack. I mean, the dream is to work for Gordon Ramsay one day. So hopefully he listens to this and gives me a job. Some of the other chefs are like George Columbaris, Gary Megan, Matt Preston. They're the judges of MasterChef Australia. They were the judges of MasterChef Australia. They used to inspire me too because as I said, I used to watch MasterChef since I was a kid. I've met Matt Preston too. It was when they came to Bangalore for World on a Plate in 2016. So my parents and me went for the event, went for the classes, got a lot of memorabilia, but never got to meet them there. So then we went out for dinner the same night, and we were supposed to leave, but then I asked them to stay because I wanted to eat dessert. And as I was eating dessert, Matt Preston walks in, and then I couldn't get up and talk to him, but everyone were pushing me. I was like, no, I can't. It's Matt Preston. He's like a celebrity and I can't talk to him. But they pushed me and I went and spoke to him. Again, he gave me some advice, which was really good. And yeah, that was that. And a few years later, I was at Taste of Dubai. I was heading the mise en place for the chef's competition tent. That's basically where a couple groups of people cook along with celebrity chefs. And then Matt Preston's manager walks in telling me that's his next show. And I just asked him jokingly, like, I met him a couple years ago. Do you think he will remember me? He straight out denied me, like, no, he meets a lot of people, forget it. But then Matt Preston walks in and he's like, aren't you the guy I met in Bangalore? And I told him my plan was to go to Australia to study culinary arts. So he came and asked me, why the hell are you here? Aren't you supposed to be in Australia? So that was very nice. Hopefully he still remembers me. Yeah.
Thanks, Aarnav.